Hey guys, and we're on my bedroom floor yet again. What can this mean? Well, it means I've got something to show you. So, what did I pick up the other day? Well, I picked up another GameCube. It's a black one, like the one I've already got, apart from the fact that it's really dirty. With it, I got an official GameCube controller. Black. Official GameCube AV Elite. And official GameCube Power Pack. There, guys, we have a complete GameCube system. But I didn't buy the GameCube because of that. There was something attached to the bottom that I've been wanting for ages. So, yeah, I've got a GameCube. No idea if it works, need to clean it up. I'll be filming the testing process of that in a different video. But anyway, I can move this to the side because I did get a bonus GameCube, but that wasn't the main purchase. Attached to the bottom of the GameCube, what's this? This is the GameCube GameBoy player. It's a pretty cool device for the GameCube, and I'm going to show you what it does right now. So here's my GameCube, lovely and clean, all in good condition. Now, as you can see, the bottom expansion slot thing for the high-speed expansion port is missing. It's missing because it's on the other GameCube, because this was attached to the other GameCube and the lady didn't give me the port that went over the bottom. Anyway, all it does, if I can center that a little bit more, is it just goes on the bottom, like so, and pushes on. And then there's two little screws right there, and we just screw them in. Now, you don't have to worry about doing this too much, because I mean, it's going to be sitting on the Game Boy player anyway, so it's not exactly going to drop off. But it's just nice for a little bit of security. So there you have it, the Game Boy player itself. Now, what does this do? Well, if I tilt the GameCube up like this and lean it on its handle, a very convenient feature, by the way, for videos, I'm going to get a Game Boy Advance game. Super Mario Advance. Slot it in the front. Boom. It's in. You can play your Game Boy games with your GameCube controller on your big TV. Now that is pretty cool stuff. But it's not only Game Boy Advance games, even though that's what it's designed for. Game Boy Color games, even if the game's a bit whatever. There you go. And original Game Boy games. Works with all of them, and I have tested it with all of them. Again, another original Game Boy game fits in there. There's no reason for it not to fit, it's exactly the same size. Anyway, let me give you a little tour of the hardware. So on the front here we obviously have the slot for the Game Boy games. There's a little tiny port there. That's for the Game Boy Link cable, so you can plug in your Game Boy Advance, I believe. I don't have that cable, but I do have this cable, and it's where you can plug your Game Boy Advance into the controller port. It's something similar to that, but it's like the Link cable, and I believe you can control the Game Boy games with that when you plug your Game Boy into that port. On that side there's nothing, and on the back there's nothing, so that implies that there's no cables needed, and in fact it is true. It's nothing like the Sega CD or anything like that, none of that hassle. It just all the stuff it needs is transferred through the expansion port. On the side here we just have a little eject button, because it's very hard to get those Game Boy Advance games out. I'll demonstrate how that eject button works now. So we're going to put a Game Boy Advance game in the Game Boy player, like so, and they're pretty hard to get out. In fact, it's next to impossible to get it out when it's lying on the shelf. So you just pull the eject button and the game pops right out, as you can see there. Do it again, game pops right out. Okay, now you don't necessarily need to use it for the older Game Boy games, however it does add a nice bit of ease to getting the games out. So that's not all I got as well. I did get a free Game Boy game, Mario Land, the first one, which is cool. And of course you need the software to run it. Now this is just your average GameCube disc in here. Here is the GameCube disc itself. And on the inside, this is pretty cool. So it's got your average slot for your memory card in there. As you can see, mine's in there already. But it's got another slot at the top for the Game Boy games. Obviously it doesn't fit the older Game Boy games. That would have been cool if they could have designed it so it did, you know, put it at the bottom here or something. But I mean, it's still cool. So you need to put the disc in, and then that tells the GameCube to start playing from the Game Boy player. Alright guys, that's about it. I'm going to hook up my GameCube with the Game Boy player, and I'm going to show you some of the stuff on screen. Like I said, I'll show you that other GameCube in a different video after I clean it up a little bit more. So yeah. Alright guys, so you're looking at the TV right now. The GameCube is off, but the Game Boy Player and Game Boy Player software is in, and there's no Game Boy game in it, so I'm going to show you the boot up sequence. So the GameCube boots up like usual, reads the disc, goes to the Game Boy Player. Now it does the whole thing like a Game Boy Advance would if you didn't have a game installed. If I press the Z button, this brings up the main menu. Now, I'll spoil the surprise a little bit. This is what your Game Boy Player will look like. I'm going to take you through all the options. Here, on frames, you have 20 themes that you can have. So a couple of good ones are this one. It looks pretty similar to the Advance SP. This one is like the GameCube. As you can see at the bottom there, the power LED, and then at the top right, no, top left, sorry, you can see the power button. The one I had when we came on, that's the space one. That's pretty cool. And there's all sorts of other ones. A couple of other options in this menu then. We can have full screen. That means it hides the side panels of the theme. We've got controller options. We've got different screen settings, so that's the screen filter. And we have a timer there, that's pretty handy. And this last option, you press A and yes to change the game packs. That's what we're going to do now. The GameCube waits for a game pack to be inserted, so I'm really running out of time because of the stupid 10-minute limit, guys. But we're going to insert a Game Boy Advance game. Okay, so it reads it. And as you can see, the quality is very good. Let me just there we go. Give you a quick demonstration of the gameplay. Okay, here we are. And as you can see, it looks pretty much perfect. It's not very pixelated and that. I was expecting it to be quite pixelated because it's coming from a Game Boy, designed for such a small screen and everything. But yeah, so that's Super Mario 2 for the Game Boy Advance. I wish I could show you more, but unfortunately I can't. So what we'll do now is go to change game pack. I will eject that. And sometimes the ejects can be quite powerful because it just shot the cartridge at the camera and now it's slid under my shelf. But anyway, now I can show you a Game Boy Color game. So I put that in and it boots up like the Game Boy Color. Now, as you can see, it's gone to standard definition screen size instead of widescreen, which is there. You can change that just like when you're playing a game on the Game Boy Advance. So widescreen makes the game look all stretched, but it fills the screen. I just like to have it normal. So this is good old Rayman. And as you can see, guys, it looks pretty much flawless. Alright, let's see if we can purposely die here. Shame. I find it really hard to die when I want to, but then when I don't want to. Yay, level's done. Anyway, you get the idea, guys. Now then, let me just show you an original Game Boy game. We'll eject this one, and we'll put in Super Mario 2. There we go. This is one of my all-time favourite original Game Boy games. Okay, to show you a quick level here. As you can see, looks very good. No complaints at all. Really, really nice. And very, very fun to play as well now that it's on the big screen. all your usual stuff. It's all exactly the same. Okay, I'm really running out of time, guys. Before I get too into it, that was the Nintendo Game Boy player for the GameCube. A very, very cool little product. I highly recommend, if you see one, you pick one up. And I mean, I haven't even got a Game Boy, and I've got these Game Boy games just to play on here and stuff. So thanks very much for watching. Hope you all have a good day. Please follow me on Twitter, message me with any questions. Thanks for watching.